Commanders hire Dan Quinn to match with their new general manager, Adam Peters, to lead this franchise into the future.
The way that we live is not for everybody, okay? It's not, all right? Because we're going to run and put our bodies on people in a violent manner.
Whether the team is giving us the highest of highs or the bluest of blues, we'll cover it all here on Commanders Nightly News. I, of course, am your host, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. Let's get to tonight's lead story. Man, I've been taking in all of this, Washington walk-off, bear trap talk, and I can't get enough of it. I told you guys this was going to happen, and I still can't believe that this has happened to us. Like, I'm still, it's not too many things that, rattle my cage in terms of, disbelief. I've seen it all, man. I've done it all as a fan. I've seen it all. Not too many things get me, riled up or emotionally overwhelmed in one direction or the other. That's the first thing that's happened to me as a fan in a long time that's got me moved in that type of way. And watching it over and over again, I get the same feeling. It takes me back to that moment every time. My heart starts racing. I get goosebumps every time I watch it. And I've watched it 50 million times, and I can't get enough of it. And I talked about this yesterday. This team is better off because of what happened on Sunday. It's cool to blow teams out. It's good to know that you can put your foot on somebody's neck and crush their larynx. It's good to know that we have the capability to go up to someone, stick our hand in their chest, rip their heart out, show it to them as they fall to the ground. We know we have that KI. But you also got to know that when shit gets tough, you're not going to duck and run and seek cover. You're going to stand and fight. And you may not get the shit done, but there's no quit in any one of those 53 guys, 70 guys in that locker room. And it's games like that that display that to the rest of the team. And I'll take it a step further. I went back and I listened to every single interview. I don't always do that. I went back and listened to every single interview from every single guy that has been posted anywhere after this game. And to a man, there were three overarching themes that I gathered from those interviews. And we heard from at least 7 or 8 different players throughout that process. And the 3 common themes were, 1, this is a brotherhood. We've heard that all season long, but it never rings more true than when you're in the trenches and you're going through it and you got to have it and you find a way to get it. Number 2, Jaden Daniels' toughness and leadership qualities are at an all-time high. He has earned and garnered the respect of all of his teammates. Not that that wasn't the case prior to this game, but he was not healthy. We all know this, okay? We watched this man wince in pain after a couple, and he took some shots in this game. He took some hits, and we saw him get up, wincing in pain, clutching his midsection. We know he wasn't 100%. There were throws in this game that we've seen him make, that we know he can make in his sleep, that he missed. And still, this man went out, put his body on the line, slung it 60 some odd yards, knowing that that was going to hurt to give his team a chance to win. And then the last thing is that win, and I talked about this specifically yesterday, instills a level of confidence throughout the entire organization, not just the players on the field, not just the coaching staff, not just the front office, but ownership and the fans, probably most importantly from an aspect away from the field. The most important thing is that the players and the coaches believe, right? Because it don't really matter what the hell the fans believe. But as a fan, you want us to show up and show out and support and make noise. And the crowd was the most impactful I have seen since 2012. That was the most impactful crowd I've seen since 2012. No 2015 crowd, no 20. We didn't have crowds in 2020, right? No 2015 crowd was as impactful as the crowd that we saw on Sunday. It created false starts. It created, mishaps for the Bears. They made it tough on Chicago. And to a man, a number of defensive players talked about the energy they fed off from the crowd. So make no mistake about it. The crowd was definitely a factor, and you could feel it through the television screen. There is a sense of belief after this game that anything is possible, that this team is never out of it. And it takes a win like this. A 42-14, a 40-7 isn't going to give you that type of belief. It's going to instill confidence, but it's not going to give you the type of belief that no matter what the situation, no matter what the circumstance, we got a shot. And a bunch of guys after that game said, hey, we got 5. We got 5. And as long as we got 5, we got a shot. It changes things when there's this infinite belief. I called it ultimate belief yesterday. I think as fans, I think we have that now. Like, I don't expect every Hail Mary to work. Like, that's not what this has done for me. What this has done is I know this group's going to fight. They fought against Baltimore. We were down 27. You know how many times as a fan I've seen that game turn ugly? You know how many times that ended up 40-13? You know how many times that ended up 37-17? You know how many times I watched that game turn into an all-out assault? If you've been a fan long enough, you know what I'm talking about. That game didn't end up in a pure ass whooping. It ended up in a 7-point loss. You know how many times I've watched games like the one that just happened and had that gut punch feeling knowing that we just blew an opportunity and not come out on top? You know how many times we watched that Giants game from earlier this season and we don't find a way to win? You know how many times I watched that? Not this group. Not that quarterback. Not this year. It's different. I keep telling y'all, it feels different because it is different. And listening to those players after the game, there is a belief that makes this team dangerous. I'm starting to get these, man, this might really be our year type vibes in that locker room. I keep hearing guys say, this is the most fun. Terry McLaurin did an interview with Kay Adams. This is the most fun I've ever had in my NFL career. It's not close. Sam Cosmi said, this is the best team I've ever been on in my football life. This is the most fun I've ever had in my football life. Nick Allegretti has won multiple Super Bowls, and he's saying, I've never been a part of anything like this before. The shit is real. You can't fake the kind of shit that's going on right now. This feels like a team of destiny right now. And I'm not bullshitting you. I'm not sitting here spitting this for hyperbole, and I'm not trying to hype you up or put a battery in your back. Look at the shit that's happening this season. We get an ass field goal kicker. We kick him to the curb. We sign another guy, and he just missed his first kick, and it didn't get blocked. He just didn't hit it good. But he's won games for us. You keep looking at all the other things that have happened, and you keep putting the different pieces of the puzzle together. We talking about our receiver group. We get Noah Brown a week before the season starts. He just catches a Hail Mary to give us one of the most incredible finishes in franchise history, and he's been our number 2 receiver undisputedly, unequivocally this season. We can't make this shit up. You bring in Bobby Wagner, people said he was old. You bring in Zach Ertz, people said he was old. You bring in Austin Eckler, people said he was old. And these guys have been outstanding this season. You look at our cornerback position, it hasn't been great this season, but you drafted Mikey Sainristil. You signed Noah Igbenogany, who was an afterthought, a guy that was supposed to be here for special teams purposes, and those guys have played well. You don't press this many buttons by accident. We just signed Jalen Holmes, off of someone's practice squad. He got a sack on Sunday. You can't press this many buttons correctly if you tried. And yet, that's what happened in this season. Johnny Newton is playing extremely well, is coming off of his best game. Hell, we're even getting shit out of Fedarian Mathis. You didn't even think that was possible. Emmanuel Forbes has a pick. Come on, man. Come on. I'm not telling you that Forbes is fixed. I'm not telling you that we're going to end up on the right side of that whole transaction. I'm just telling you, we traded Jahan Dotson a week or two before the season started. A lot of you questioned the move. We are winners already in that deal, and I don't even know what we're going to get with that third-round pick. All of these things are lining up, and you can't tell me that this shit is just happenstance. There's something bigger at work here. There's something bigger at work. I'm just going to tell you this. I've told you this before. I'm going to tell you this again. Buckle up. This is going to be one hell of a ride this season. We're 6-2 through 8 weeks. The back end of this schedule looks just as promising as the front end did. This team's getting better, and the belief is growing. And I tell you this all the time. It usually doesn't apply to us, but it does now. Winning begets confidence, which begets more winning, and it's a vicious, flavored, delicious cycle. We're winning, we're gaining confidence. That leads to more winning, which leads to more confidence. And then next thing you know, you look up, you're 14-3. You're 13-4. I'm not saying, I'm just saying, look out. Ready or not, here we come. And can't nobody hide. Speaking of which, in other news, we're going to go around the NFC East because they can't hide. And we got Dallas coming up soon. We got Philadelphia coming up soon. We got the Giants this week, right? Finish our season series with the Giants this week. And then right after that, we got the Steelers. And then we go straight into NFC East, play full bore, right? I'm ready. I don't know about you. I'm taking it one at a time. But I've never felt more sure of anything as a fan in my life. We are winning this division this year. As long as 5 is healthy, that's the key. I don't think I need to explain that to you. If 5 is healthy, we win in this division. Come hell or high water. But before I do that, let's get into some stats real quick. It's not much this week, but I do want to throw out, because there were a couple of things that I said at the end of the game that I was curious about. I got some of the answers right here. So let's talk about them. The Washington Commanders defeated the Chicago Bears 18-15 on Sunday on a last-second Hail Mary touchdown, as we all know. We can't stop talking about it. Speaking of which, I got a big show tonight. Rico, Ed, Rio, myself, reacting to the Washington walk-off. Make sure you join me. It's going to be a big show, and I want you guys to be a part of it tonight at 8:30 here on the LouieTeeNetwork. So I'm looking forward to chopping it up with y'all for that. Washington has held their opponent scoreless in the first half in consecutive games for the first time since week 10 and 11 of the 1997 season. That's impactful, and that's notable because I don't care how bad you think this defense is or how many deficiencies you think exist within this defense, and you're probably right. It's hard to shut out an NFL team, let alone do it 2 weeks in a row in the first half of a game. It's hard to shut out an NFL team for a quarter, let alone a half of a game. You know, it doesn't take much. With these kickers and their legs these days, you don't need much to get into field goal range. And you got to give this defense credit. They didn't allow the Bears any points. They didn't allow the Bears really to score anything for the first 3 quarters. They allowed the Panthers 1 touchdown. They allowed the Browns 1 touchdown in garbage time when the game was over. They scored that touchdown in the final 2-3 minutes of the game. Say what you want about this defense. They are playing better. Period. Anytime we start bringing up the 90s, you know some shit is happening. Washington is 4-0 at home for the first time since 05. That was the question I had. When's the last time we start 0-4 at home? 2005. That was the last time we, coincidentally enough, won a playoff game. Last time we won a playoff game. We haven't won a home playoff game since 1991. Or excuse me, 1999. We haven't won a home playoff game since 1990. We have not won a home playoff game this century. Man, I'm trying to change that this year. And their 6-2 start is the best since the 2008 season, and that did not end well for us. And the Steelers were a huge part of that season going belly up. We're looking to change that. They on the list for that season and the 2016 Twerkathon. They on the list, goddammit. I didn't forget that shit. We got them back in 2020, but that ain't enough. Like Smokey's mom trying to give us not enough, and she said, make it enough. Hell no. I'm not making 2020 enough. I need all my retribution, goddammit. You turned my season upside down in 08. And in 2016, you came to Washington and you twerked on us in front of a national audience in week 1. That was a sign of things to come in that season, and we would miss the playoffs by a game. Yeah, your ass is still on the goddamn list. I still got more retribution. We need one more to cross your name off the damn list. Washington recorded 481 net yards, the highest total of the season. That is important for this reason right here. For as bad as it feels like we played and as many missed opportunities, I kept saying, we dominated this game. That number right there shows we dominated. We went up and down the field on this Bears defense, this vaunted Bears defense. And again, it wasn't their play that kept us out of the end zone. It was our mistakes. It was just like the Giants game. Our mistakes kept us out of the end zone, not the Bears defense. I will give them credit. After those mistakes, they made us pay, right? Now you can't get in the end zone. You keep on knocking, but you can't come in, right? Now you can't get in the end zone. That's your fault. Washington's defense held Chicago to 2 of 12 on third downs. Man, do y'all remember? It wasn't but a month and a half ago. Do y'all remember when we was dead last in third down defense, giving it up at a 61% clip? Do you remember? Huh? On Thursday, when we go behind enemy lines and we take a look at their stats, we're going to also take a look at our stats heading into this game versus the Giants. I think we're inside the top 20 in third down defense. I'm venturing to say we might be top half of the league now. You keep stacking these types of third down performances together, and you can start stringing those types of third down performances together, and eventually you're going to find yourself making some headway. Washington led time of possession 32-16 to 27-44. That's not enough for me, personally. We were dominating time of possession till that fourth quarter. And I talked about that already as well. But now let's talk about the NFC East. Let's go around the NFC East real quick, because now we get into the shits in this division. This week, we play the Giants for the second time. So we will finish our season series with the Giants before we even see Dallas or Philadelphia once. We know how important that game is. Giants lost last night to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're 2-6. They're not tanking. Their fans want them to tank, but no NFL team tanks, right? Coaches can't afford to tank. Players can't afford to tank. There's no such thing, right? This ain't the NBA. So they're gonna keep playing hard, and they're gonna try to beat us on Sunday. And they probably feel like they should have beat us in week 2. So we're gonna have to really go in there and exert dominance early. We got to show them immediately, right away, hey, you're not winning shit today. And they've been an awful home team. They've been much better on the road than they have been at home. We need to go in there and make sure that that trend continues. I don't think they've scored a first half home touchdown or some shit like that this season. Or it's some crazy, stat that they haven't done this or that at home this season. And we need to continue to make sure that happens. I really want Jaden Daniels to be resting in the fourth quarter of that ball game. He needs as much rest as he can get. So that's going to be, we'll talk more about that game, when we get there. But understand that we got a chance to go to 7-2, and we got to take full advantage. Why? Is that very important? One, it's an NFC East game. Enough said. If you're trying to win the division, I've already said you got to sweep the Giants. You're halfway home. Finish the deal. But number two, the Eagles are playing the Jaguars. They're going to win that game. If you want to stay in first place, you need to beat the Giants, because the Eagles are going to beat the Jaguars. And they're coming off of, I would say, their most impressive victory of the season, going to Cincinnati. And I think we have to come to the realization, Cincinnati's just not what we thought they were going to be this year. That's a fact. But they're not who we thought they were going to be this year, because teams like us and Philadelphia and Baltimore have beaten them, right? They've lost games to quality opponents, and that's why they're not good. In the past, they found ways to beat some of these teams. They're not doing that this year. But Philadelphia didn't just go in there and beat them, stumped a mud hole in them. Now, granted, there was no T. Higgins, and I think that had a huge part in the outcome of that game. It doesn't matter. They still got their ass whooped 37-17, and Philadelphia did that. And they're gaining confidence. I still don't think their defense is great, but they keep running into teams that are wounded, and this is what I got to give them credit for. They're taking advantage of it. They're taking advantage of it. Cleveland wasn't any good on offense. They took advantage of it. Cincinnati is banged up on offense. They took advantage of it. Jacksonville is even more banged up. So I know they're going to win. Jacksonville had a shot before Christian Kirk got hurt for the season, and Brian Thomas Jr., their rookie stud wide receiver, he's out 2 to 4 weeks. So they're going to benefit from the Jaguars having to roll out Parker Washington at wide receiver as a starter this week. The Jags are going to get a mud hole stomped in them by the Eagles on Sunday. And so we got to win. But after that Jaguars game, guess what the Eagles have? They got the Cowboys in Dallas, and then a quick turnaround, and they see us. And no matter how poorly the Cowboys are playing, they're going to get up for Philadelphia. Speaking of Dallas, they got the Falcons on the road this week. They lose that game, they're finished. They have to win that game. And the Falcons have been one of the worst teams at home this season with a winning record. They are the absolute worst team at home with a winning record this season. I have my doubts about Dallas and who they are and what they're going to do. But I'm telling you right now, they're going to Atlanta and they're going to win that game. They are going to Atlanta and they're going to win that game. Just like Seattle, who was reeling and looked like they couldn't find left from right, went to Atlanta 2 weeks ago and beat the shit out of Atlanta. I'm not telling you Dallas is going to beat the brakes off of them, but I am telling you they're going to do enough to win, and that's going to give them confidence the following week to go home and have a chance to beat Philadelphia. Now, I don't know if they're going to do it or not, but it's going to give them a chance. And if you're a Commanders fan, you should be rooting for total chaos behind us. You want everybody behind us beating the shit out of each other while we continue to try to create distance. Now, at the end of the day, I can't say this any more clearly. We just need to take care of our business. If we beat Philadelphia, if we beat Dallas, we don't have to worry about nobody else doing any dirty work for us. And I don't like leaving shit that I need done in the hands of others. A wise woman once told me, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. Truer words have never been spoken. I live by that adage. So while I would love Dallas to handle Philadelphia for us prior to us getting to Philadelphia, whether they do or not, should make no difference to us. It should be of no consequence. We take care of the Giants. We take care of Pittsburgh. We take care of Philly. We're going to be in first place, no matter what happens. Or even if we lose the game against Pittsburgh, and I told you, I don't expect us to lose any games. I'm not picking against us the rest of the season. I don't give a shit who the opponent is. If we beat Philadelphia, we beat the Giants and we beat Philadelphia, we're still in first place. Even if Philly wins all their games leading up to that game, we beat them, we're still in first place. Or we're back in first place, I should say. So just take care of your business, especially in the division. Got one coming up this week. Got to take care of it. But I digress. That's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on this installment of Commanders Nightly News. Again, big show tonight with the fellas, with the Commanders Kings. Looking forward to chopping it up with them and hopefully hearing from y'all tonight. It's a special episode, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope you guys can join me for that. But we're going to be live a couple of times this week. We'll be live on Wednesday night for our standard live episode of Commanders Nightly News. And so we'll be really getting after it here. I'll be live with Bad Dog on Wednesday, as well as we'll go head-to-head on the NFC East Super Friends channel. So I'll be all over the place. We'll be doing a lot of things this week, but looking forward to seeing you for all of it this week. Also, I'm going to be doing my LTN exclusives DR trip live stream, right, this Friday. So I'll have more details for that as the week progresses, but I'm going to lock in a time, set that stream up. I want you to be a part of that. If you're interested in going on this trip, this is the need to know about every single thing. Any questions you got, bring them, right? We're going to talk about everything that's going to go down from on that trip and what you're going to be exposed to. This is going to be something that I try to do every year, but this first one is going to be one of the biggest ones, right? And it'll be one of the best ones. You know, you want to be a part of the first one. It's nothing like the first time. So we'll talk more about that as well throughout the course of this week. But that's going to do it for me, your man Louie T. Until next time, you guys, take care. Have a good one.
Here comes the diesel. Here comes the diesel. There's the snap, hand to Riggins. Good hole. He's got the first down to the 40. He's gone.